Very warm welcome to everyone. We are back with yet another daily debate session. Today's date is May 11, 2025, and I'm Vihan Maheshwari, the host. For today, we have a very good topic, which is should the Uniform Civil Code be implemented across India immediately? This is a very controversial topic which has been going throughout in the parliaments and discussions around the Indian government. So we'll have a debate on that. For the guidelines, we will be having opening statements from both the sides for 2 minutes 30 seconds and a rebuttal round for 2 minutes per speaker. And at the last, a question and answer round for 2 minutes. For the favor, we have Anushka with us, and for the against, we have Pranat Kadam. So let's start with the opening statements. Anushka, you can go ahead.
Yes. So, distinguished chair, honorable judges, and learned audience, I stand today to urge the immediate adoption of this uniform civil code, a revolutionary but indispensable move towards guaranteeing justice, equality, and national integrity in the world's largest democracy. We may start with the crux of this discussion: gender justice versus religious autonomy. India cannot pretend to be a modern progressive country while permitting personal laws, most of which are regressive and partial to control the lives of citizens. Can a woman's right to equality be held at ransom by her religion? The firm answer is no. The Shah Bano case in 1985 brought to light how deeply religious orthodoxy can erode constitutional rights. A 73-year-old woman was denied maintenance by her husband, and while the Supreme Court decided in her favor, political fear overruled the verdict. This was not justice, it was appeasement. Now let's proceed to equality under law versus cultural sensitivity. India is a secular republic. Our constitution does not acknowledge citizens to be Hindus, Muslims, Christians, or Sikhs in the matter of basic rights. But in matters civil marriage, divorce, adoption, we are regulated by distinct laws. Is this equality? No, it is apartheid by law. Cultural sensitivity cannot be a reason to continue discrimination. Practices offending the dignity of women, children, or marginalized groups must change or get eliminated. Thirdly, on national unity versus federal rights. The UCC is not about eliminating diversity, it's about celebrating unity through equity. Goa has had a uniform civil code for decades, and it is one of the most peaceful, inclusive, and legally advanced states in India. Why can't we replicate this model nationwide? A uniform civil code will provide us with a common legal platform, reaffirming the fact that we are not merely a union of states, but a
Please
nation of
summarize.
equal citizens. Summarize that it's the UCC is basically not eliminating the diversity. It's about how we celebrate the unity through equity. Goa basically has had a uniform civil code, and Goa, right now, we look at it, it's one of the most legally advanced states. And although it's legally advanced, it's still peaceful. So basically, equality is blind to religion. The demand for UCC is not to subjugate any identity, but to elevate the individual above the shackles of caste, creed, or community.
Yes.
75 years of independence on, we have to ask ourselves, do we wish to remain a law-divided nation, or do we at least fulfill the constitutional commitment of Article 44?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anushka. Just a second, guys. I will open the timer for you guys so that you also have an idea of how long you are taking to speak the. Yes, Jayant.
Um, After the opening speeches, could we, as a spectator, ask them questions?
You can have that in the Q&A round at the last.
Okay.
Is my screen visible? Is the screen visible, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Pranad, you can start with yours.
Wait. I'll start on my cell phone. I'm audible, yes?
Yeah. Yeah, for the
Yeah. I'll
against,
start.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm an against the motion. I'll start on my self count of three, two, one. Good evening, respected chairperson and the house, and my very passionate opponent. Today, I strongly oppose the immediate implementation of the Uniform Civil Code, not because I'm against equality, but because I'm against confusion disguised as reform. Let's start with some basics. Article 25 of the Indian Constitution guarantees every citizen the right to freely profess, practice, and propagate their religion. Now, if you barge into people's personal laws without consultation, you're not reforming them, you're overruling their constitutional rights. That's not justice, that's a legal dictatorship. And for those who scream Goa has UCC, allow me to break your bubble. In Goa, Hindu men can still remarry without divorce if the wife fails to give a birth by a certain age. Yes, you heard that right. That's legal in the so-called uniform state. If that's your golden standard, then I'm sorry, your version of equality sounds suspiciously like gender-based regression. And now here's the fun fact my friends on the other side conveniently forgot. The 21st Law of Commission of India, yes, the same institution that advises the parliament, clearly said in 2018, and I quote, UCC is neither necessary nor desirable at this stage. Now, are we now smarter than our top legal experts? Or are we just ignoring the facts that they don't fit the narrative? Let's talk about the Schedule 5th and 6th of the Constitution, which protect the customs and governance systems of scheduled tribes. You push UCC right now and you're overriding the very laws made to protect India's tribal and indigenous cultures. So while my opponents are shouting unity, they're actually proposing a law that tears into India's legal uh, pluralism and constitutional safeguards. And now for the cherry on the top, let's not forget the Shah Bano case of 1985. After the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Shah Bano's right to alimony, Parliament reversed the decision under pressure. Why? Because imposing reform without dialogue leads to backlash. We have been there, done that, and clearly didn't learn. My opponents want a 1.4 billion strong nation to obey a new set of laws overnight without addressing illiteracy, legal awareness, or even linguistic diversity. Tell me, is this the reform or is this legislative laziness? Ladies and gentlemen, equality is not built on urgency, it's built on empathy, education, and consensus. So I don't oppose UCC forever. I oppose it right now, and we are clearly not ready for it. With that, I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you, Pranad. And a lot of improvement from before I can see in yourself. Just one thing from my side is that consider this is a debate, not a MUN. But
That's right.
irrespective of that, great points, great speech. But yeah, try to make it less argumentative, and that would be perfect for for a debate.
Yeah.
Okay, and I am giving you 2 to 3 minutes, and you can prepare your rebuttal speeches and questions, and we can start the rebuttal round. Jayant and Niyati has
Now,
connected.
after wait. Now, after like 2 minutes, you would have a rebuttal speeches round, right? And Chair, since there is Niyati and Jayant, would that be possible if we like? Oh wait, Riyansh is also there, not Niyati. Okay, never mind. Yes, since there is Riyansh and Jayant, would that be possible if we just do 2v2 debate,
Jayant is a
if
spectator, he
possible?
said. If he
I
wants, we
mean, yeah,
can
he
do
can
that.
change his mind if we possible.
Priyansh
Excuse me,
and
sir.
Jayant. Yes, Anushka.
So how many questions are we allowed to ask?
Uh, there's no limit, but it should be under the given time, which is 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Maybe you
Can
can
the
ask two
spectators have
questions, and every answer would consist of like a minute of answering.
can the
Okay.
spectators add on to the questions and can they have follow-ups?
Yeah, Niyati, you can add your
Arey,
question in the
please, you guys
last round.
participate now.
Yeah, you can participate. That
Yes.
would be better.
Like it
No, I
would be a
can't
2v2 debate.
participate.
It would be.
I'm
Okay, never
studying
mind.
and like listening to a debate simultaneously, so I can't participate.
Well, okay, Jayant, yes.
Till that you can stop recording and start the recording.
So sorry for that. If you want, you can restart, but that's okay.
Do you want me to restart, like, respeak?
Yeah. Okay, you can do it if you can. So sorry
Okay,
for this.
fine. No, no, it's
Three,
okay.
3, 2, and also I will tell you when the 2 minute marks hit, and after that you can just summarize your remaining points so that you can end it with a good note.
Yeah.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
The opposition argues that the UCC is an attack on religion and culture, but my question is, when did injustice become cultural? Is it culture to deny someone equal inheritance or a widow's right to land, or is it discrimination? Reforms have to be from within, but history is not in agreement. Sati was abolished by law, not by internal reform. Triple talaq was abolished by the Supreme Court, not by religious leaders. To expect communities to modernize their laws by themselves is perilous, is not progress. They argue the UCC imposes majoritarian values upon minorities. To clarify, the Uniform Civil Code isn't Hindu law by another name. It's a secular, gender neutral code based on constitutional principles and not religious texts. It's a try to codify all religious personal laws, including Hindu law, into one civil law to be applied to all the citizens. Goas is cited as an exception, but I see it as a proof. It is a proof that a UCC brings legal certainty, gender equality, and better governance without causing religious tensions. It invokes the Law Commission report in 2018, where it said the UCC is neither necessary nor desirable. Yet the report also acknowledged discrimination in personal laws and suggested reforms. The requirement is clear despite a lack of political will at that time. Delayed justice is not the same as respect for diversity. Real respect would be equal rights for all citizens, man and woman, Hindu and Muslim, and tribal and urban, under the law. We are calling for justice, not cultural conformity. India requires a new economy and not a medieval law. Thereof, the committee and conciliation is through. This era for constitutional courage is here. Now, what exactly means UCC? It's all sections of the society, irrespective of their religion, shall be treated equally according to the National Civic Code, which has to be applied
Nobody.
uniformly everywhere. They cover areas like marriage, divorce, maintenance, inheritance, adoption, and succession of the property. Now, challenges in implementing civil code law, uniform civil code. Each community has its own set of personal laws and customs that govern their civil matters, so it's kind of difficult to implement it. These laws vary widely across regions, sects, and groups. As you all know, India is a diverse country with many states: Rajasthan, Gujarat, Maharashtra. So, therefore, these laws vary widely across regions, sects, and groups, different types of groups, different types of committees. Finding common ground and uniformity among such diverse groups is
Anushka,
very
it's
difficult
time.
and complex. Yes, done.
Please look into the duration after your next debates because you will be marked negatively if you keep on doing this. Just a suggestion because at the end, what you can do is that if you think that your time limit, you are going to extend the time limit, you can just summarize all the remaining points of yours into one statement that you can speak at the end and not just citing every point because that will only increase your time. Okay.
Thank you.
Pranad,
Yes, I'm audible. Yes, hello.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll start on my self count of three,
Can you
two,
open your
one. Let's begin
camera?
with a word that was. Yeah, sorry. What?
Can you open your camera?
I mean, okay, sure. Am I visible?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
3. Yeah.
I'll start on. Wait. I'll
Yes, you
start on
can
my
do a
self
self
count.
count.
I'll start on my self count of 3, 2, Let's begin with the word that was flung across the floor: gender equality. My friend here seems to believe that UCC is the magic pill that cures centuries of injustice. But here's the truth: gender justice doesn't require a uniform civil code, it requires political will. The Hindu Succession Act was amended in 2005 to give daughters equal rights. Muslim women won the right to maintenance in the Daniel Latifi case. And let's not forget, gender based crimes are dealt with under IPC, which clearly applies equality to all. So let's stop acting like personal laws are the only hurdle. The real hurdle is lazy governance disguised as uniformity. So no, you don't need a UCC to empower women. You need courts that listen and governments that act. I support gender justice. And I just don't support lazy shortcuts. Next, we are divided. Next, the opponent stated that we are divided by laws. Really, India is a diverse. That's a feature, not a bug. The Constitution itself and schedules 5th and 6th protect tribal laws. Even the Special Marriage Act allows in interfaith marriage without touching personal laws. We have already figured out how to coexist with legal plurality. So stop pretending UCC is a band-aid for all differences. Unity doesn't mean sameness. That's not India. That's dystopia. And secondly, my opponent says UCC is about celebrating unity through through equity. But how do you celebrate unity by pushing everyone into the same mold? That's not celebration. That's simplification. And if you believe equity means making everyone follow the exact set of rules without context, and that's not equity. That's convenience disguised as fairness. Real equity means understanding and respecting different lived realities, like the tribal customs protected under schedules 5th and 6th of our own constitution. You don't uplift people by erasing their identity and handling them a uniform. That's not your unity through equity. That's ignoring the diversity in the name of discipline. Now, about the Shah Bano case, my opponent used it as an example of why UCC is needed. But actually, Shah Bano case is the best example of why forced legal reform without social consensus is what? Am I done? Hello, chair. Am I audible?
Hello, 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 hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Are my 2 minutes done?
Yeah.
Okay. Concluding, chairperson, equality cannot be built on sweeping people's lived realities under a neat legal carpet. Let's fix the flaws, not flatten the foundation. With that, I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you, Pranad. Good one. Okay, guys, now we can head towards the Q&A round. For this, I want you to raise your hands and I will give the order in which you can ask your questions. So for
I believe first. Hello. Yes.
yeah, what?
I believe first, both the participants would ask each other questions, right?
Yeah, that's fine, but I have to still create an order for it. I'll
Yeah,
keep you
works,
guys
works.
at the
You should
Are we
share
gonna have another
another
meeting? Like
meeting
it's
link.
only 3 minutes left.
yeah, I can start. When are we saying?
And if possible, you could share the Meet link instead of Zoom link because
The problem is with Meet, they think there would be problem with the recording thing, as
okay,
there is like
no problem.
option there. Okay, so for Anushka, first we will go with Pranad's question, then Ryansh, then Niyati, then Vance. This is basically in order from what I can see in my screen. And for Pranad, you can raise your hands again if you want to say it.
Yeah, works.
Could you repeat the orders? Your voice was cracking.
I will just tell you at the end. So, uh, just one thing, guys. If you are raised hands,
Am I audible?
yeah, remove your raised hand for a minute. Ryansh and Niyati, lower your hands. Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah.
who is going first?
So, for Pranav, now raise your hand. Want to question him in order.
I'll be the first, right, as you announced.
No, this is
But
for
you didn't had
this
rebuttal
question
speeches
from you.
for answering your opening
Rebuttal speeches are basically counter what the uh, s- things that have been stated by the opposition. It's not question answering.
Got it.
Anushka, Jayant,
Got it.
Niyati, and Priyansh. Okay. So, who wants to go first to answer the questions? Pranad or Anushka?
I'll go first.
All right. So, Pranad, for the first question, Anushka can ask to that.
No, no,
Anushka,
no. I would ask her, right?
you want to
Yeah,
ask the question or answer the question?
Pranad wants to
I can
ask
do
the
both.
question first.
Yeah, firstly, I want to ask, since it is only 35 seconds remaining. I mean,
Okay, we can first have another meeting created. So, the
yeah,
order is for Anushka, the first question will be asked by Pranad, then second by Riyansh, the third by Niyati, and the fourth by Jayant. And for Pranad, the first question by Anushka, second by Jayant, third by Niyati, and fourth by Riyansh. Okay. Okay,
works.
guys, we will just start the new meeting now.
Yes,
All
I'm
right.
audible.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you truly care about equality, how do you justify implementing UCC immediately when India still has over 1,200 tribal communities protected under schedules 5th and 6th of the Constitution, all of whom will follow distinct personal laws? Do you propose we strip their legal protections overnight?
Anushka,
Could you repeat your question?
Yeah, just a sec. Am I audible? Yes, again.
And please
yeah,
go a little
possible,
slower.
just type it in the chat as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please type it
I'll
in the
just
chat
do
box.
it. Just a sec.
Okay, Anushka, question is up in the chat. And also, Riyansh, Niyati, and Jayant, you can also get your questions typed in so that we don't waste any more time. And Ranbir as well. Also, Ranveer, Anushka is in the favor of the motion and Pranad is against.
What the topic of debate is?
It is available in the WhatsApp group.
Or
So share the screen as well.
Okay, yeah, I'll go for it.
Yeah, please.
Oh. Okay, so I'm not saying for the immediate and blanket removal of protections for tribal communities. The UCC must be implemented, progressively and sensitively with full respect for constitutional safeguards under Schedules V and 6. However, we must distinguish between genuine cultural practices and injustice, hiding behind the shield of tradition, in the name of tradition, in the namesake of tradition. Where tribal customs uphold gender equality and justice, they deserve protection. They also require protection. But where they violate basic constitutional rights, especially of women and children, reform must follow. The UCC does not mean stripping away identity or, demolishing or putting down those laws by the cultural. It basically means ensuring no citizen is denied equally simply because of where they're born or what customs they follow or where they're from. Just as with other laws, special status can coexist with reform, definitely. The Constitution is not a barrier to equality. It's a bridge that we have to follow so that we all can be equal. Constitution is therefore made for us to be equal. So, no, we don't strip protections overnight, but we also don't accept that inequality is acceptable simply because it's customary. Justice must be inclusive and eventually universal. It's every single's right, every person's right.
Okay. Anyone
Chair,
who wants to yield
follow up.
to follow up?
Yeah.
All right, Pranav.
Anushka, you clearly stated that uh, in your answer that UCC should not be implemented immediately. But according to the agenda, you were speaking that uniform code, civil code should be immediate across India immediately, right? How are you contradicting your own statement like this?
You just asked me that if you truly care about equality, how do you justify implementing UCC immediately while India still has over 1,200 tribal communities protected under Schedules B and number of 6? So I just said that for these tribal communities, it's not we are implementing that it has to be for the immediate and blanket removal, because for tribal communities, that actually takes time for their minds to adjust and for that new mindset to develop. They don't know what is happening in the urban, what laws they're implementing, who are these people, who is this government. No, they're living in jungles, they're living in tribal, and therefore it is not necessary for that immediate removal. There has to be a progress. Yes, we can start it now, we can start it today, but that exactly does not mean that it's going to be immediate, because of the tribal communities. They are so backward from us right now. Not much, but still they are backward. And therefore, even if we start today, it's still going to take us very much time. It's still going to take us years for implementing that law. So, yes, even if we start this with immediate, it's still gonna take us time. And even if we not start it immediately, even if we start it in a 1 or 2 years, but just basically giving them information, they can slowly adapt to these changes and these laws that are been forming around us. So yes.
All right. That's it for Pranav. And now, Reyansh.
If the goal is equality, how do you ensure that the UCC won't become a majoritarian law that forces one community practices onto another's in the name of uniformity?
Okay. So the UCC, it will be new, secular, and gender just code created through conciliation and rooted in constitutional values. I implement this by giving them equality, is just getting to know this, is just basically informing the people around us about this code and to providing them with this knowledge of this code and what are the reasons and what are the measures that we are supposed to make this code because of. So equality cannot be seen as majority, and it's universal. That's what I have to say. Or anything you want to reiterate.
So I follow up.
Okay, Reyansh, go ahead.
Can you give concrete examples of what a universal UCC would look like in practice, especially in issues where religious laws conflict, like inheritance, divorce, or polygamy?
In the examples
Of what a universal UCC would look like.
okay, based on what were the examples, like marriage and inheritance rights?
Yeah.
Okay. So if we talk about inheritance rights, if we look at it universally, when the UCC will be implied, all daughters, sons will be able to inherit equally, regardless of religion or tribe. That's one way of equality. This ensures gender equality and protects, the women's financial rights across India, which is a right to equality also. In terms of marriage, this uniform minimum marriage age will be 18 for women and 24 for men will apply to all and not and there are some villages in India still not following this rule, so it will be applied uniformly everywhere. This will help in child marriage and ensure universal standards for adulthood and consent. If it talks about polygamy, then one law and one spouse for everyone. Monogamy would be a universal civil norm. Nobody can have, not a man can have two or three wives anymore. It's modern nature, and with this one law, it would be only one spouse for everyone. This promotes equality in marriage and protects women from unequal marital arrangements. So yeah, the UCC doesn't erase culture, it removes legal inequality.
Chair, another follow-up.
I'm sorry, Ryansh, we cannot entertain more follow-ups.
Okay, sir.
Okay, going ahead with Niyati.
Right. So you speak about implementation. So doesn't implementing the UCC rapidly without like proper consultation and proper awareness and education violate the Article 25 and impose a form of legal dictatorship, even though most countries, including India, are democracies?
Violation of which article?
Article 25, I think Pranad mentioned it in his speech as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Would you like me to type it out?
Anushka, do
Yes,
you want?
please. Yes, please. Yeah, sorry. Yes, please. The last part especially, I could not get it. We are
Just give
while
me a minute. Just give me a minute.
Yeah. You said violating the Article 25, right? Article 25.
I have typed it out. Do you see it?
Yes, I can see it. Okay, so I'll answer to this. I would say no, because if a uniform civil code, even if implemented swiftly, it will not violate Article 25, provided it is based on secular gender equality principles and applies equally to all citizens. That said, I actually fully agree that the process of implementation matters, but let's separate two concerns here. There are these two concerns. One is the principle of UCC, which is rooted in the Constitution, and the process, which must be democratic, inclusive, and transparent. So, UCC is a constitutional goal, not a dictatorship, which was mentioned by Pranad once. Article 44 of the Constitution clearly states that India must move forward toward a UCC, and enacting constitutional promises is not authoritarianism, it's constitutional governance. A democratically elected parliament passing the UCC after debate is not imposition, it's implementation. Okay. Then awareness and educational is also very crucial, but not just a prerequisite to justice. Waiting for every citizen to fully understand every aspect of law is idealistic, but not unrealistic. We didn't delay the abolition of sati or the introduction of Hindu code bills until full public consensus. Instead, public awareness can and should follow legal reform through campaigns, civic education, and outreach through different initiatives. So, democracy doesn't mean palaces. Democracy also means protecting minorities within minorities, like women, orphans, and LGBTQ plus individuals within religious group. If a practice violates equality or dignity, it must be reformed, no matter how slowly or quickly it is.
Okay.
I have a
What?
follow-up.
Sure.
Yes.
So basically, you mentioned Article 44, and the Article 44 is DPSP, and the gradual implementation of Article 44 risks like leaving it risks leaving like personal laws and like things that are discriminatory or outdated. So does it like does Article 44 actually support your side for rapid implementation?
Good question. And also, it is fine if you're not able to answer the question, you can do it via chat and take time.
So, what does what does the Article 44 of the Indian Constitution says? It states that the state shall endeavor to secure for the citizens a uniform civil code throughout the territory of India. Now, you said that does Article 44 support the UCC even if gradual implementation risks the, discrimination to personal laws? So, no. Basically, Article 44 is a directive principle. It sets a goal for the state. It reflects the founder's intent that India should eventually replace religious based personal laws with a single secular equal civil code so that discrimination does not happen and people do not state that, oh my god, this is the religious thing that we are supposed to do, but this do violates the equal rights. So this should not happen. Therefore, Article 44, it just reflects on the founder's intent that India should eventually replace this. This was seen as essential to building a modern, unified nation based on equal citizenship. Okay. Then, gradualism versus justice. So, you'll point out that gradual implementation can prolong discrimination. That's absolutely correct. But women still face unequal inheritance, marriages, and divorce rights under some personal laws. Like, if that religion states that you cannot get this, you cannot get that, how are we supposed to protect our equal rights? How are we supposed to protect that basic human rights? Some customs, agreed, still deny widows land rights or allow polygamy. It's still happening around the India. It's still happening in some villages. So Article 44 supports moving past these injustice and these situations, not preserving them under the excuse of cultural diversity. No, some things are just has to be equal. Constitutional harmony, basically. Article 25, religious freedom, and Article 44, UCC, must be read through together. Okay, it is not considered as separate. Okay, personal laws are not above the constitution. If a personal law violates equality or dignity, reform must prevail.
All right.
Even, yes, done.
Okay. Hmm. You the what? Jayant, is this your question? Okay. Jayant.
So, yeah,
Yes,
it's
Jayant.
my turn to ask a question.
Yes.
Yeah. So, as Anushka stated that Goa is a successful model of UCC, but under the Goan Civil Code, Hindu men are still allowed big uh, bigamy under certain conditions, and Catholic marriages are governed by canon laws. So how exactly is this a true uniform civil code? And to more elaborate it, Goa follows a Portuguese civil code, 1867, which is not a uniform civil code drafted by India. And Catholic marriages are regulated under canon laws, and annulments are decided by church authorities, not civil courts. So how could you say that Goa is a successful example of civil code, the implementation of civil code?
Okay. Um, you're right. Goa civil code is not perfectly uniform in every respect. There are indeed exceptions. Hindu men can remarry under certain conditions, and Catholic marriages are partially governed by canon law. But here's the key point. Goa is still the only Indian state where all communities, regardless of religion, are governed by a single civil code for most personal matters, marriage, divorce, succession, and what else? Guardianship? Yes, adoption, guardianship. The remaining exceptions are precisely why India needs a national UCC to eliminate these loopholes and move toward a fully secular, gender equal, regal state. So, these are some loopholes that are there that we have to overcome these and we have to fill these so that we, the India, are fully secular, gender equal, and legal system. That's how I would say.
Point of order.
Yes.
So as she said that it is a successful example of uniform civil code. Am I wrong,
You're not wrong,
Anushka?
but this is a subjective opinion, I believe. If she thinks that
Yeah,
But
it
even
is,
even the Law Commission of India in 2018 concluded that Goa's law cannot be considered a model uniform civil code due to these contradictions. Like human men in Goa can remarry without divorce if the
yeah,
first wife does not bear children by the age of
okay,
25. And she said that Catholic marriages are partially governed by canon laws. They are not partially; they are fully governed by canon laws.
all right. So I believe there is some contradiction in the statement, but there was one line that she said that Goa may not be a successful example, but it is something which proves that UCC is important. So I believe she tried to make
But
a point subjective, but well, she still had some contradictions. But well, your point of order is taken. It's correct. Good.
yeah, it's correct. In its consideration. But as we see, there is UCC is not applied anywhere else except Uttarakhand that Sir said in the beginning of the debate. Goa is the only still most successful in its region because as you see, the law has been already implemented, and still Goa is actually the only state that is following this UCC and which is actually going great so far. They are actually, getting into that UCC code. So that was what I meant by the successful state. And I completely agree that it's not perfectly uniform in every respect, but still, it's the most successful state that has the UCC implemented in it. So yeah,
All
that's
right.
what I wanted to say.
Not specifically UCC, but uniform code. If that's
Yeah.
okay.
There, a
Niyati?
slight objection.
Hmm.
So basically, when she was answering Pranad's question as well as my question, she said that it would be better to not have rapid implementation and rather take it slow and steady, which like goes against her own stance.
But that is something we cannot have it as a point of order. It is up to her how
Yeah, I
she
just wanted to
frames
point
it.
it out.
Yeah.
But the agenda is regarding
Yeah,
but
implementing it
as
immediately.
India is a democratic country, so you cannot implement anything in just a night. It requires
Yeah,
five to
yes,
ten
exactly.
years.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what
So
I wanted to. I just wanted to point it out. Like grudges or whatever you want to call it.
this uniform civil, the motion that I've given be linked to situations when the political sphere, the social sphere of India is in very situation where uniform civil code is very much necessary. If you could have cited situation that your points would have been way better linked. All right. So just let's just ask questions to Pranath. We have 10 minutes remaining. I want you all to write all of the questions in the chat so that at least he has uh, all the questions. You don't have to speak again and again. All right. So first, Anushka, you can go ahead. Anushka.
Yes, sorry for the interruption. I'm having some network issues. Um, yes. So you claim that UCC threatens religious freedom, but isn't freedom from discrimination also fundamental right? And yeah, and if Goa has, still not successfully, but still implemented a uniform civil code with communal harmony, why can't the rest of India do the same?
Okay, Pranath.
What was your first part of the question?
Okay, yeah. I'll just type it out, Just give me 1 minute.
Aren't you guys hungry?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Okay, first of all, her question was I claim that UCC threatens religious freedom, but isn't freedom from discrimination also a fundamental right? Okay, so exactly my point. There are already Article 25 freedom of religion and Article 26 freedom of manage religious affairs, which are both are enforceable. So I clearly stand that UCC should not be implemented immediately right now at this stage because there are already various rights of which protects religious discrimination. And secondly, for a question regarding Goa, right? Actually, Goa UCC isn't uniform at all. For instance, Hindu men are also allowed to remarry without divorce if the wife doesn't bear children by the age of 25. Goa family law rooted in Portuguese civil code. That's not equality. That's gender discrimination, and it is legally sanctioned. Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have Jayant. Mr. Jayant.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
I also stated the question, it's the same question almost, that why should there be different laws for
Then you
citizens of the
should
same?
had asked this question in a follow-up.
I typed it in the chat box.
No, there are like two questions in one question.
Yeah, it's the same basically. It's just two questions. Yeah.
Okay. Since Jayant is not responding,
So,
can go ahead. Acha, Jayant is back. We will
are we
speak at the
having,
end now.
we are not having time for to ask Pranath question,
Yeah,
but we have to ask
we
it.
have 5 minutes. Jayant and Niyati can still ask.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Go ahead.
Jayant, you have your question ready?
I would like Niyati to go first.
Okay,
Yes,
Niyati.
just in a minute, I'll type it out. Let me speak. All right. So, isn't putting off the UCC just political hesitation, which shows like a lack of real commitment to justice and constitutional values, especially when the Law Commission, the Supreme Court, as well as the Constitution framers have all been debating upon this idea for decades?
Could you please rephrase your question in more understandable manner? I clearly didn't understand your question.
So basically, I'm asking, isn't putting off UCC showing political hesitation and a lack of real commitment towards justice and constitutional values, even though major bodies such as the Supreme Court, the Law Commission, and the Constitution's framers themselves have supported this idea for like a very, very long time.
Okay, first of all, UCC should not be implemented immediately. It was stated by just a sec. Where was it in my speech? Yeah, it was clearly stated by the 21st Law of Commission of India. The and yes, the same institution that advises Parliament clearly said in 2018, and I quote, "UCC is neither necessary nor desirable at this stage." And secondly, India is not lacking in political what justice, because there are various legal acts. For example, Triple Talaq was abolished through the Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Marriage Act 2019 without UCC. Secondly, Hindu Succession Act 2005 amendment gave daughters equal rights in ancestral property. Then let's move towards Domestic Violence Act 2005, which protects all women regardless of religion. There are various other laws in this which protects humans, which protect the people of India, everyone without UCC. Thank you.
Follow up.
I'm also having a
Can we
follow-up for
skip the
this.
follow-up from Niyati?
Mine's
Start with
really,
Jayant.
really short. It's like one line, very short.
Okay, just do it fast.
Basically, how long should you wait for reforms, especially when many personal laws, especially if they deny a woman their equal rights? And should justice actually like depend upon how fast or slow a community like chooses to change their laws and their ideals?
Could you please again repeat? I didn't had like my internet connection. Your voice was cracking. Hello, am I audible
All
right
right,
now?
I will
Hello.
probably speak slower, would be better. How
Yeah,
long
sorry,
should you
what?
wait? How long should you wait for internal reforms within communities when like many personal laws still deny women equal rights? And should justice actually depend upon how fast or slow a community chooses to change their values and their ideals?
So basically, what I get is that orthodoxy, due to
There
orthodoxy
are
and
two questions,
traditions,
right?
there is one question, but it is linked with an example. So, due to orthodoxy, Pranad, you are saying that we need the religions to reform themselves first, but that would take a lot of time, and the discrimination would still prevail. So that is the question. And how much time should we wait for the reforms to come up?
Okay, yeah. Discrimination in personal laws must be reformed, but through community consultation. Also with Muslim women's activists like the Shariara Bano, the challenged talaq, as I mentioned earlier in my previous answer, and succeeded through judicial legislative reforms, not UCC. SC in Shariara Bano. We Union of India 2017 struck down triple talaq without UCC. So clearly UCC isn't needed right now. And yes,
Okay, Jayant.
and yes, and the Constitution itself promotes diversity within unity. Article 371A to 371 and schedules 5th and 6th protect tribal and
All right,
culture
all right, all right.
reforms. So
Thank
there are
you,
still
Pranad.
laws. Yep.
Thank
Sorry.
you,
Okay.
Jayant.
Are we gonna have a new meeting link as it is
I don't think
4:30
so.
seconds?
This is probably the longest debate in TDT.
No, it is not the longest.
Well, okay.
Yeah,
Wait,
we have
what?
attended the longest.
No,
Jayant,
Jayanti, you were not also in the long. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Back to the debate. Yes.
Jayant, your question. Oh man, the meeting is gonna
I
end.
believe we need a new meeting link.
Man, I'm going to eat my